Hi there, Richard the Dick Confidence 616, and now we're going to have some good old-fashioned nationalist drama, but I'm going to have it with a so-called friend of mine, Federalist Films, who I'm going to refer to throughout this video as Federalist Fail. Haha, get it? Yeah! Federalist Fail made a video called Fuck the UN, and in there he's whining about no one likes the UN, what's the point of the UN? The UN is pointless. And then he goes on to bitch about the fact that the UN's never had a chairman or someone who a leader who is American. Well, if it doesn't matter that if they're irrelevant, Riff, yeah? If they're irrelevant, why the hell are you complaining about it? It's bitterness. It's bitterness. This is the reason why you haven't had anyone. It's because you suck, right? Because America is worse than everyone, right? Britain is better than you, right? In every way. If you say, people say Britain is like the 51st state of America. No, you're just you're the 5th country. You're not even a country. You're not even level with it. You're our fucking pet gimp. Let me explain to you. First of all, we invented you, right? We invented your country. All the fucking... Several hundred years ago, when everyone in this country were divided over religious grounds, and they were quite happy setting each other's kids on fire and burning villages, we had you faggy little pilgrims sat there with your buckles on your shoes, sat there going, no, we don't want anything. So we turned around and said, would you just fuck off, right? We picked on you, we flushed your head down the toilet, and we bullied you until you buggered off. You were all from the fucking West Country, which is basically like sort of our equivalent of like the South in America. They were so fucking inbred that, you know, they had some sort of, their brain had their sort of parts of their brain that deal with imagination and facts had swapped over, which is why they all thought the Bible was literal and all things like science were fake, and they all buggered off on a boat, right? They get on a boat and bugger off to fucking America, and you could tell they were fucked at the point where they decided to name the first place they landed at Plymouth. Why? Because that was the name of the place they left. They were on a boat. They were on a boat hundreds of years ago. They couldn't have thought of a new name. I'd have been sat there making a list of things we were going to call the place, right? They then proceed to name everything they come across in America. They proceed to name everything they come across after countries are. You know, you get to about a third of the way through, they start getting into the Welsh names, it gets a bit dodgy, then you start going mental and you name things after all, like, you got all these weird names like Albuquerque and all the other, named after, and other things that are named after like the Native Americans. And while we're at the Native Americans, you get there's a load of brown people who you exterminate, you then go to Africa and get more brown people. Talk about cutting out the middleman, you dumb fucking idiots. There's a whole fucking... Or didn't you like the fact that... I mean, did their like tomahawks scare you? Were you that bothered by them? What was it? Was it the fucking leather flappy things? What? The big fucking mohawk thing? What was it? And Americans always like to say, you be speaking German if it wasn't for us, man. Well, I can speak German now. Did it at school. Like, wir können machen bisschen zum Bahnhof, bitte. See? Did it there. And but you don't understand. Just because the Germans would have won the war doesn't mean everyone's going to speak fucking German. Right? But actually, you should realise something, right? If it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking fucking German, right? Because if you... Right, you got to understand this. America is not a country that was invented on independence, right? First of all, right, you like to say you kicked our ass in the Revolutionary War. No, right? Because you had to win the Revolutionary War before you were actually American. It wasn't until after the Revolutionary War was won that you were actually American. Until that point, right, you were just British people fighting other British people on away soil, right? That was Britain versus its own B team, and you happened to win, right? So we won that one, so fuck you, right? Secondly, the only reason you were invented, understand this, the only reason America was invented in the first place, right, was by a brilliant military strategy. Because we knew, right, we were a small country, and we knew eventually some organised shithead would come along and try and take us over proper. We'd owned 80% of the world, we're a bit bitter about that, right? We lost it. We're a bit bitter about that, okay? We owned all the fucking world at one point, right? And we owned it all, and then we knew at one point someone's going to come along like us and try and take us over. And they did that. Hitler came along and he tried it. And what happened? You lot were there. We knew we had to do something, right? So what we did was, we planned several hundred years in advance, right? We planned to get all the cousin fucking inbred religious nutters to fuck off somewhere where they can breed and all their anger and paranoia can fester to the point where they'd be this big megalodon of fucking insanity who would be happy at the click of a fucking fingers, like we needed, right, to just come over here and smash some shit out of someone for reasons best known to someone else. They didn't need them. That's the beauty of the American American military. They're like a tsunami, totally destructive and without a brain. They just sort of mow on through, and that's what you were. And when we needed you, well, when I say when we needed you, it took you a while, because you're not that fucking sharp, are you, in America? You're not that fucking sharp. Right? It took you 2 years into a world war for you to fucking get involved, but you came out and we brought out the gimp. That's what you were. We brought you out. You do realise the rest of the world looks at America. You're sitting there going, we're the leaders of the free world. You realise the rest of the world is sat there. There's countries that were invented like last Tuesday, right, who are sat there looking at America and the way you're doing, the things you're doing, the people your politicians, the way you lot behave, your education system, and you sit there and go, they're sitting there going, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Could you carry on? Could you catch up with Liechtenstein? Could you please get a fucking move on to the point where you're at the same level as Moldova, right? Could you possibly do that? And recently, you can't even win at being fat anymore. There was recently a study released that shows that there are more fat people. Britain's got a higher level of fat people than America, right? But at least in this country, when we're fat, we have a bit of class about it, right? We have a bit of class. We have people like Winston Churchill, but people with dignity, people who sit there and talk like that, right? We have fucking dignity and class when we do it. You lot don't even know when to stop, right? You don't see, but you lot are so fucking fat you can't even walk properly. We might be fat, but we can fucking get up. We can get our asses to the shops and back. We can burn off some coats. We don't need a fucking little motorised cart to carry us fucking around, okay? It's not on. Anyway, take that one, Riff. Yeah, so go and tell Riff he's just been pwned. See you later. Richard Coughlin, 616. Good night, mate. God bless.